Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is for you, whether you're driving your car, you're at work, sitting in your house. Hello, my friend. And yes, anyone that likes baseball is my friend. It's just that simple. That's what makes things like the World Baseball Classic so cool. But we'll get into that later. First, we have some housekeeping to take care of. One, it's been a little bit. That's my fault. I don't have a good reason. It's hard for me to do this sometimes. I'm pretty scatterbrained. I do lots of projects, so not many I finish. But this is one that I need to get back into doing more because I think it's fun. I just like talking about baseball. It like relieves my wife of having to listen to me talk about it all the time, so she gets the honor of pausing me whenever she wants. And then also, usually my podcast videos, whatever, are better viewed on YouTube because I do go into like statistical things or, you know, it's easier to visually learn sometimes if you're anything like me. So, if I hear things, it's usually in one ear, out the other. Ask my wife. So, if you're a visual learner and it's hard to like imagine all this in your head. You might want to see this on YouTube because I'm going to be going into some Mariners statistics that I think are interesting for spring training because we're approaching the regular season. So I'm going to get into that. So if you're curious or you get lost, I will post these on YouTube. You'll be able to see them. I might post them on Twitter if you want, or if you know me, you can just ask and I'll send it to you. I have these graphics made up. Then they're pretty graphics. I want people to see them, okay? They look cool. So that's all. And I also don't have a camera if you're viewing on YouTube. Usually I do. I'm about to move, and so it's put away right now. So none of that today. You can't see my face, which maybe is a good thing. I don't know. But anyway, a lot has happened, so we're going to get into it. The first thing we're going to talk about is a little injury news. We know that a few people broke their hamate bones. Now, I know my audience is mostly just people I know, but if this does happen to see anybody else, or anyone else happens to hear this that is a fan of any of those people that broke their hamate bone to begin the season, I want y'all to know, don't panic. It's all right. So, looking into it a little more, I wondered, because I heard everyone saying, like, they broke their hamate bone. That means their power is going to be gone. Who knows how long it's going to take to get back. It's a weird surgery. It's like quick, but it has a back and forth, hit or miss recovery. So I looked into it. I did a little statistical research, which really was not necessary. You could have done this with your own eyeballs just by looking at the stats. So there's been some notable people, right, that have also done the same thing. Happened to Mike Trout. Happened to Jose Ramirez. Happened to Ken Griffey Jr. Happened a lot. I guess not a lot, but a fair share of times. And the only real issue that I saw with hamate bone injuries was the fact that they don't always return immediately. So you have people like Trout, right? It's really hard to judge him and his injury, like before and after, and how it would have affected his power, which is what I did. Because he got injured, came back for like a week, and then got injured again. And so he didn't return. But then you have people like Jose Ramirez who break their hamate bone, remove it, and then come back and for like 3 games in the regular season, but he hit a home run in I think every game, or at least he hit 3. Like, he got better for those. 3 games is a very small sample size, but even in the next season, he was just fine. It had no lingering effects. Nothing bad happened in the long run. And then you have people like Ken Griffey Jr. who did it back in the 90s. He broke his hamate bone. I don't think he returned the rest of that season. Next season, he came back. He hit like 52 homers. So, I think the hamate stuff is a little overblown, in my opinion. So, if you are one of those people happening to hear this, if you're a fan of like Corbin Carroll, then don't worry. It'll probably be okay. They're young, healthy guys. Shouldn't really have much of an issue. The only ones I see are the older gentlemen that this happens to, and even then, most of them are fine once they do get healthy enough to play again. Like Mike Trout, weird outlier. His injury history is piling up quickly. It's really weird. But just so you know, it'll be okay. All right, it's gonna be fine. So that's my input on the hamate bone thing. I know most people won't really hear it, but whatever. So next we're gonna get into hold on, little commercial break. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I don't have commercials. I was just getting a drink of water. Surprise, no ads here. Anyway, we're going to get into the World Baseball Classic, all right? And it is now over. The U.S. did lose to Venezuela the other day, and I'm recording this on Thursday when the 19th? Right before March Madness starts. So I'm trying to get this in before basketball begins, and I have every screen in my apartment with basketball on it. So the World Baseball Classic ended, tough again for the United States because just like last time, super stacked lineup, had all the talent in the world, and they just could not put it together. I don't even know how they got to the final, but we'll get there. Let's start a little earlier. I don't really want to go into much of the pool play rounds. There's nothing super crazy other than Italy advancing over Mexico. That's pretty cool. So Italy was on an absolute bender in the pool play round. Holy cow. They were scoring 9 a night, and I don't know what they were doing. It must have been the espresso shots or something because they were playing out of their freaking mind. And I thought that was kind of cool. So good for Italy, Happy for them. It's tough for Mexico, but it is what it is. So getting into the knockout round, Venezuela beat Japan, I think was the first shocker that we got. And Venezuela ended up winning the whole thing. So good for them, but we'll get into that. Venezuela beating Japan was a big upset. I don't know if it was like a huge upset because Venezuela, U.S., DR, Japan, they're all really good. They're all full of MLB players. So I don't think it's really a surprise that it came down to them. But beating Japan was a little shocking. It was a great baseball game. I didn't get to watch a ton of it because I was out and about. But I watched as much as I could, and it was incredible. I watched the important part, like the later half of the game where Venezuela came back and took the lead and then ultimately won. So that was super cool. Good for Venezuela, man. I have no hard feelings. I was at the World Baseball Classic game in 2023 between the U.S. and Venezuela, which was, of course, the finals matchup of this World Baseball Classic. And that game that I was at in 2023, with that Trey Turner Grand Slam, the most electric game I've ever been to, probably of anything. And I've been to some crazy games, some like NFL playoff games. I was at that Mariners game in Houston when Jordan hit that walk-off in the playoffs. Horrible day for me, but I mean, the atmosphere was electric. You got to give them that. So I guess before that, it came down U.S. Dominican Republic, and that game was really good. It was like the most exciting 2-1 game I've ever seen. Julio's robbing Aaron Judge. Bobby Witt Jr. is putting on an absolute freaking clinic defensively the whole classic. Unbelievable. The U.S. bullpen was absolutely nails. I mean, it was a great game. Just talent everywhere. You can tell, like, even though it wasn't high scoring, that there's just a lot of really talented people on that field. And I think that's awesome. Great for baseball. Great for the U.S. that they won. Unfortunate that Mark DeRosa decided to forget how to manage, or if he ever knew how to manage in the first place. We don't know. We may never know. Because, oh my goodness. Like, how does I understand that I'm a Mariners fan, so I'm a little bit biased. But, like, how does your 60 home run MVP runner-up catcher not get a single at-bat in a 2-run game that ended up being a 1-run game? Like, Will Smith comes up to bat, down 2, runner on first, against a righty? Like, what are we doing? Cal Raleigh hit like 40 homers left-handed last year. And then Will Smith proceeds to do nothing, swinging a pitch that hits him in the hip. And look, no offense to Will Smith. Unbelievable baseball player. Should not have been in the game in that situation. It comes down to the winning run, stole second. I mean, it wasn't a bad, like a horrible throw. I think Bryce Terang really needs to pick that better because he was out by a mile. If the pick is even decent, it was still pretty close. So, whatever. But, like, I understand Cal had a rough World Baseball Classic, but he still had, I think, a higher on-base percentage than Will Smith to end it. And he almost hit a home run in not the DR game, the one before that, whoever we played. It went, like, barely foul. So, it's just the thing with people like that. It's like Gino Suarez, who ended up winning the game for the Venezuela. Like, yeah, you have people that struggle, but when you have really talented baseball players that hit the ball hard in a close game, that could be the one at bat that matters. So Gino could have gone, 0 for 5. If he gets one at bat, that's a double and wins the game, then that's all you're going to remember. So it's like if Cal would have come up, hit a walk-off homer or something, then no one remembers the fact that it was 0 for 9 before that. Who cares? And the thing is, it doesn't even matter. Like, he hadn't played in two games. So, I don't know. Whatever. It's over now. I can't get mad at it. It's just a little ridiculous. That is all. So, and then there was also the beef with Cal and Randy, and I think that's a little overblown too. I can't imagine Randy's going to be like sad or anything with the vibiest outfield ever with like him, Julio, and Victor Robles. So he'll be fine. I'm not worried about it. Cal's Cal, Randy's Randy, and then Naylor kind of poked fun at Cal and made light of the whole situation. So I really like Josh Naylor. He's cool. But I think that whole thing was just really overblown. So that's kind of the big stuff going on. There's really nothing else crazy in the world of baseball right now. Just lots of spring training games. So we're going to get into that because I've become more of a Mariners podcast because I know the most about the Mariners. So this is when it gets also more interesting for me because I have fun graphics that I made. So if you want to see those, ask me for them. I'll probably put them on Twitter. But there's like a phone version and a desktop version. I'll be using the bigger version. So it can be seen on YouTube in a way that helps you. But anyway, time for another ad break. Okay, once again, there's no ads here. I just needed a drink and a little bit of a break there. So getting into more of the Mariner-centric part of this podcast, I'm going to start big trade acquisition. I haven't covered it because I haven't posted in forever. Brendan Donovan to the Mariners. Very, very cool. If you hear me clicking in the background, I apologize. But Brendan Donovan to the Mariners was something that we thought was going to happen at really any point the whole offseason. And finally, they get it done for much less than what Chaim Bloom probably wanted. So, good for us. But right here, I have in front of me his spring training statistics as of the 18th, so yesterday. And he is just playing unbelievable. So, the big issue and what all Mariners fans have PTSD for is getting in these guys that, have a really good track record, have always been pretty good, and then are just horrible in T-Mobile Park. You have your, first year Jorge Polanco's, you have your Colton Wongs, your AJ Pollocks, Cooper Hummels, whatever, man. Like Mitch Garver's, granted, he only had one really good year, maybe a couple. But anyway, that's, as a Mariners fan, that's the PTSD that we all have, right? Is we see this new shiny toy and we're like, oh, he's going to be so good. And then he comes to Seattle and he's freaking dog awful. Sucks. Luckily, Josh Naylor did not fall into that trap. And I pray that he still does not fall into that trap because you never know. It's a new year and he's on an extension. So just hope it works out. But looking here, if you're looking on YouTube, but I'll explain as much as I can for those that are not. I have Brendan Donovan's spring training statistics pulled up. And right now he's hitting 428, 500, 571 with an OPS of 1.071. That is unbelievable. So good. I mean, getting on base literally half the time. Yeah, I think that's pretty acceptable. Striking out 12% of the time, right in line where he was last year. I think he was at 13. Walk rate at 9.5%, which is a little above league average. It's not like, elite, but it's pretty good. Hard hit percentage is a little above average, not a lot. I think the average last year was like 43.5. So it's pretty good, a little above that. But I think, so in the corner, I have a little like exit velo launch angle graph. And the thing that really stands out about Brendan Donovan, I keep wanting to call him Donovan Solano from last year. Again, another example of someone that came to Seattle and was terrible. But Brendan Donovan is just an elite line drive hitter. Like, goodness freaking gracious. He hits the ball hard, about league average, but he's just really good at finding the sweet spot of the barrel. Like, just getting it in the air, over the infielders, underneath the outfielders. He's so good at it. He finally popped a homer yesterday, little pull side homer. So it's really good to see, but he does that. It's like 15 a year. So that's going to happen. But he's just really, really good at finding that soft spot in the zone. He's really gap-to-gap guy. You can see it in his spray chart. Left center, right center. It's all there. Like, he's got a couple, that hits, like, he's got a double down the line the other way. And then a lot of his, or I guess it's a single, but then he's got some pull side doubles, pull side homer. So he's just really good at hitting gap to gap, like exactly who we need in Safeco, or not Safeco. Wow, it's been a while in T-Mobile Park, because we all know that it kills fly balls. It's tough. The wind blows in a lot. It took like 8 home runs away from Cal Raleigh last year. So someone that comes in and just hits homers is not always the best guy. Look at Gino. Unfortunately, he wasn't great at T-Mobile Park. He was great on the road always, but he was never that good at T-Mobile Park. He would pop the occasional homer, as we saw. But that was kind of his issue, right? So getting someone in here like Solano, who's basically just a nailer, is perfect. Like, this offense really needed to cut down on strikeouts. We all know when they were basically leading the league for 3 straight years a few years ago. And it was pretty ugly. It felt like every time we needed a big hit, strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. The worst thing ever. So we finally get another guy in here with a really low strikeout rate. He's going to get on base a lot, put it in play. He may not hit a ton of homers, especially not in T-Mobile, but he could pop a few. You never really know. But that's not what we really need him to do. We need him to get on base. He's probably going to be the leadoff hitter, and he's doing a perfect job of it. Getting on base half the time is literally perfect. There's nothing here to complain about. He's right now being flawless, exactly who he needs to be in spring training. We just hope it carries over into the regular season. But that was kind of the first thing I want to talk about. He should be fine in T-Mobile Park. Should be great. Moving into the second thing is the spring training battle between Colt Emerson and Cole Young. Now, I like Cole Young because we do happen to share a name. But it started off, and Colt, had some ground to make up on Cole. It sounds so weird. Their names are so similar. I think I'm just going to use their last names. Goodness gracious. But, Cole Young has the experience. He played a lot of last year. He's a little up and down. His good was really good. His bad was really bad. He was a rookie. What are you going to expect? But now, so I'm looking at side by side at Cole Young versus Colt Emerson. So we'll start with Cole Young. And it's like weird how similar they are. They actually have the exact same on-base percentage right now. Hopefully my numbers are right. But he has the exact same on-base percentage as Colt, like identical. The only difference is, there's a few differences, but Colt Emerson, let me start with Cole so I can put one graphic up at a time here. Cole Young has hit the ball harder. He's actually scalding baseballs. Not quite as the guy we'll get to later, but 55% is very, very good. That puts him in like Pete Alonso, Byron Buxton, ahead of people like Yandy Diaz, Fernando Tatis, Junior Caminero. Like, he's smashing baseballs. Almost, like, literally, over half of his balls are hard hit. And that is very good. I didn't know he could hit the ball like that, if I'm being quite honest. He's got some pop in there, and that's really cool to see. It could just make him that much more valuable. But he was going into this season, because last year he struggled a lot against fastballs. He wanted to get better against fastballs. But as you can see in this chart up here, he's OPSing 577 against fastballs in the spring. It's his highest strikeout numbers against fastballs. Like, I don't know what it is, but he's just not seeing it. Like, I don't know if it's a bat path issue, if it's his swing's too long, if he's selling out for more power. I don't know what it is, but he's just struggling with the fastball still. He's young. He can absolutely still improve. But that number has to get better in the majors. Like, if you're not hitting dudes in spring training that are throwing, a lot of dudes still throw hard, that are throwing, 95 plus, you're not going to hit the really good guys. You're not hitting the Jacob deGroms. It's just not going to have the Garrett Coles. It's just not going to happen. So he really needs to clean that up. Everything else looks awesome. Like he's got a 900 OPS. He's hitting the ball super hard. He's walking a decent amount, but he's just striking out too much, and that's probably just because of the fastball, which is a little unfortunate. He's finding the barrel a lot. He's spraying it all over the field. Lots of extra base hits. He's very aggressive. He swings a lot. So maybe that's just the thing. Maybe he needs to just not swing so much. He swings a third of the time down 0-2, and I think that's kind of crazy. Especially when you look at guys like Leo Rivas, who don't swing at freaking anything. So I don't know what really the fix is, but if he just cleans up the fastball issue, he'll be okay. He might still be okay either way. If he could smash all the off-speed pitches, then yeah, that's still a great baseball player. But he can make himself more valuable and probably, he could simultaneously raise his average and lower his strikeout rate just by fixing that, right? So let's just hope he gets on top of that. That's really my only big thing for Cole Young. But when you compare him to Colt Emerson, Colt is striking out a little bit less. They both have, how many plate appearances do they have? Actually, hold on. They have, let's see, Cole has 52 and Colt has 46. So pretty similar amount of plate appearances. Colt Emerson, a little less aggressive. He doesn't swing as much, but he swings a lot in hitters counts. So nothing wrong with that at all. He's not quite hitting the ball as hard. And I don't know. He started a little slow, but he's found it a little bit more. He's just been decent in everything. He's right average hard hit, right average walk rate, average strikeout rate. He's literally right in the middle for like every statistic, at least when you take into like the regular season last year. Obviously, you can't really compare. It's not perfect, but 50 at-bats is a pretty good sample size here. And he's just really good. Not really good. He's just decent at everything right now. And he's only 21 years old, so he's got plenty of time to either hit the ball harder, to, I don't know, make better swing decisions, to walk more. Who knows what he's going to turn into? So it's just really cool to see that he's already decent at everything. He's got a decent average, decent slug. He's OPSing 814, and he's only been getting better. So maybe with a little bit of time down in the minors, he'll be that much better. The only issue is J.P. Crawford has his shoulder injury. Now, I haven't heard any updates about that in a couple days. I need to look into it. I'm sorry. But if JP does need time on the IL, then the question arises, who do you put at short? And I think the right answer is actually Leo Rivas. Because when you look at Leo Rivas' stats, it's actually kind of crazy. I don't know how. He's like such a weird baseball player. Because, like, first of all, let me just say, Leo Rivas hit a ball 440 feet, and I did not know he had that in him. Like, I know I said I didn't know Cole Young had pop like that. Leo Rivas hitting a ball 440 is like me driving a golf ball on the green on like a 400-yard par 4. Like, that just, I didn't know it was possible. And I've never done that, so I didn't know he could do that. But Leo Rivas' like big strength, he does not hit the ball hard really at all. And that's not surprising. He's a little guy. But dude, this dude, swing decisions are unbelievable. He has the exact same strikeout and walk rate. And normally when you see that, it's usually like right in the middle, like 12, 15%. Walks a little more than average, strikes out a little less than average. No, he strikes out more than average, actually. But he also walks like 3 times more than average. It's freaking crazy. Like 24% walk rate. Now, dude, how is that even possible? If anyone's going to abuse the ABS system, it's Leo Rivas. But he doesn't have a huge average, yet his on-base percentage is 400. So I think if you need to spell J.P. Crawford, Leo Rivas is like the closest comp to JP anyway of the 3. Cole Young, you still need at second base. Donovan, you still need at third base. So really it just leaves Colt or Leo. And I think you give Colt time in AAA. You need him playing every day. And you could play him every day with JP on the IL. But I don't think I would. It's not really worth risking it. Now, if you're super confident in him, and the Mariners are super bullish, then go ahead. I mean, I don't think there's any real issue. He's getting better. He's pretty average at everything. Granted, this isn't exactly major league pitching all the time. So we'll see what happens. But Leo has been great. Awesome swing decisions. dude does not chase anything. Like when you look at the swing rate chart, it's unbelievable. Like I don't know how he does it, and he doesn't swing at freaking anything. The only time he swings a lot is full counts. That's it. It's actually so wild. The ways he plays is so funny. But he had some big hits for you in the playoffs last year and just the whole year in general. So I think you plug Leo in and just kind of move people around. There's really not a great answer. We don't really have a perfect Dylan Moore anymore. So I think it's Leo if JP has to miss time. But if they do decide to go with Colt, fine. I think he'll be just fine. I don't know. He's not going to be elite. He's not going to put up, Bobby Witt, Gunnar Henderson numbers. But I think he's decent. The middle infield of Cole Young and Colt Emerson, solid. And I think Cole Young's defense has also gotten better. I think that the arm looks a little better right now because it was injured last year. So he looks good right now. So let's move on to Luke Raley and Victor Robles because they're in a pretty similar boat right now. How long has this been? 27 minutes. Woo, we're moving. All right. So it's been kind of long. Moving into Luke Raley and Victor Robles because they're both, extra, I don't want to call them extra outfielders, but corner outfielders, depth outfielders that were injury riddled last year. Victor, obviously, with his, terrible injury running into the net in San Francisco, took him out basically the rest of the year until luckily he was back to make that incredible catch in Houston. But we're gonna kind of talk about them, see how they're doing, see if they're looking any healthier. Actually, we're gonna start with the broccoli and then go into the mashed potatoes. Victor Robles has not been playing well at all. Striking out a lot. He's hitting 085, all singles, just 3 singles for him. He's looked really not good. He's not hitting the ball hard. I don't know what Vic's doing. I don't know if he's still hurting or what his deal is. It is unfortunate because he was unbelievable after we traded for him that season a couple years ago. But he's just, something's still off with him. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it'll get fixed. Somehow he does have a barreled out. I don't really know what happened there. It must have been really big outfield. But it's been tough sailing for Victor. So I don't know if he's healthy. I'm bearish on Victor Robles. I don't think he's going to be that great. I think he'd be much better off. I mean, he's great. Your only backup center fielder really is Victor Robles, which is unfortunate. So he is going to have to stay there for defense, I think, because you're not putting anyone else in center. You're not putting Dom Canzone, Randy Rosarena. Luke Raley could probably get by better, but man, it's ugly if Julio goes down in center field because Victor is just not doing it. So that's unfortunate. But we're going to move into Luke Raley, who's looking fantastic. All right. Not everything is bad. Not all news is terrible. Luke Raley coming back after a tough, frustrating 2025, and he looks primed and ready for 2026. This dude is smoking baseballs. He's got like five or almost 6 barrels already. He's hitting the baseball super hard. He is putting it all over the place. He's hitting it, left field, right field, left center, right center, spraying it all over. Super promising stuff out of Luke Raley here. Walking a little above average, striking out a little bit, but that could be for anything, so it's really not terrible. If he's OPSing a 1 dot, he could strike out 27% of the time. I don't care. So I think Luke Raley, to put a pin in this, he'll be okay. I think Luke Raley his timing seems great. He looks comfortable in the box. Doesn't look any way hampered, hobbled. He looks great. Victor, not so much. But let's look at some of the options that we have behind him because we have some other guys that are actually also playing really well. But it's actually such a funny thing when you look at them. See, let's start with Brennan Davis, who's like a previous top prospect. He was in the Yankees organization last year. He is unbelievable so far this spring. This guy is roasting everything. 65% hard hit rate is like, I don't even know. That's Herculean. That's so unbelievable. He's OPSing 1,200. He's striking out a little above average, but also walking a little above average. Only 40 at bats, so a little less. But anything this dude puts a bat on is getting launched into outer space. Like, he's got 4 homers on the spring. He hit one at like 116 or 17 miles an hour. He looks really, really good. Now, of course, I don't have defensive numbers here. I don't have the calculations for that big guy. So I don't know how he is defensively, but I pray he's good. Because if Victor does need time or Victor, something's off with him, we have some really good options behind him. So Brennan Davis being one of them. This guy is just annihilating baseballs left and right, slugging 800, on base 45%. Like, dude, this guy is just a machine right now. And it's awesome. Like, maybe he finally broke out. He could be a late bloomer. We don't really know. But if he did figure something out, this is a very promising spring for him. And so I could see him at some point, coming up, being a Mariner for a little bit and helping out. And I think he could contribute a lot. Because when you look at, let's see, who do I want to go to next? Rylan Thomas. He's been a Mariner for a little bit now. He's also having a wonderful spring, actually OPSing higher than Brennan Davis. And there's like a big difference, though. He's just not striking out. He's getting on base 52% of the time. He, in 44 at-bats, so this is not super small sample, he just he's not barreling anything. He's got a couple homers. One of them was super pull side. It wasn't even really a hard hit ball. But he's not hitting the ball hard, but he is not striking out at all. Like, this guy is taking his walks, putting the ball in play, and putting it in play well. He's just a line drive machine right now, a lot like Brendan Donovan, actually. He's very similar to him when you look at all of his numbers put together. Everything's a line drive. Everything's just, left field, over the shortstop, under the left fielder, bang, bang, bang. He had a triple down the right field line. He is almost automatic. Sorry, I had a cough. But he is very much in the vein of Brendan Donovan. And so if you need another guy to come up and spell someone, Rylan Thomas is having an awesome spring. I don't know what has changed with this guy, but that dude is just not striking out right now, which is super cool to see. But then when you look at Brock Rodden, who is another, young guy in the Mariner system, could come up at some point. He's like right in the middle of the two. And it's pretty funny how it's like 3 very different ways to get similar results. Because Brock Rodden's OPSing also over 1,000, not quite as high. And he's hitting the ball a little bit harder than Rylan Thomas, but like not as hard as Brennan Davis. He's striking out right in the middle. His walk rate and hard hit are right in the middle. It's pretty weird how like these 3 guys all complement each other right now. It's pretty bizarre. But they're all doing it, and they're doing it all well. All about this, similar plate appearances. They all look really good. So if we do need time in the outfield, these 3 guys are all great options right now. Of course, we don't know for sure if it'll carry over into the regular season. That is impossible to tell. But as of right now, all 3 of them look like great depth pieces that could turn into, who knows, maybe like a trade chip at some point this year if you need like a reliever, heaven forbid. At some point, there's always stuff to do with the deadline, right? So these guys look great. They're going to be awesome to have in AAA. It's going to be a really good AAA team with guys like this, guys like Colt. It's going to be really good to see. And so I'm super excited to see how these guys develop, and to see if they can carry it over into the regular season, if these trends continue, if Rylan Thomas still just doesn't strike out ever. That'd be great. He could be another perfect guy to have in, like a Naylor, like a Donovan, just to get on base. He could be great. Put him in like the 8 hole or something, and it's just like a perfect place for him. He's no pressure, just get on base, do your thing. Here comes Cal Raleigh, So it'd be really cool if they could just keep that up. It would give us really good depth, especially if Victor Robles is not doing great. But, worst case scenario right now is if Victor and JP Crawford are both not great, both need time, I think the Mariners will be okay. They built really good depth. Not great infield depth, but really good outfield depth, and they can spell it for a little bit. And, of course, JP Crawford leaves after the season, so I think Colt is perfect there. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward with these injuries. But worst case scenario is not that bad, if we're being honest. It's just Victor cannot find the bat right now, which is the worst thing. And that's really all. JP's been DHing a little bit. I haven't really looked at his offensive stats, but at least he's playing in some games. But we'll see what happens. But that's all I wanted to get into today. Maybe it was something more entertaining will happen at some point, but I need to go watch some basketball because all the games are about to start. And this is actually, I've been recording a lot longer than I thought I would. If I'm being completely honest with you, this was a good conversation with myself. But of course, if you want to see these graphics, ask me for them. I'll probably post them and like the mobile versions of them. So, feel free to reach out or watch this on YouTube. I need to edit this right now because the games are about to start. So thank you all. Have a good one. I will try to do this more often, especially now that I have these cool graphics available. I'm proud of them, so I want to use them. And I think you should look at them. But as always, first of all, go Hawks. Big Super Bowl win, of course. Go Mariners, and I hope you all have a great day, great week leading up into the regular season. Have a good one. Enjoy spring.